You guys, I am so excited about Christmas. I'm definitely one of those people that have these big romantic, like movie like expectations about Christmas that I kind of feel like Buddy the Elf at Christmas time. I don't know. Can you guys relate to that? I think the interesting thing is a lot of us have those expectations about Christmas, but not about life. When it comes to the rest of our lives, we kind of are a little bit more of like a Debbie Downer. I mean, I think most of us do it because we're protecting ourselves. When our expectations don't meet reality, we can feel hurt, disappointed, let down. And so maybe we're sparing ourselves from that. The problem is, I think we do that with God. Maybe for us, we stop praying because we think that God can't or won't answer our prayers. Or maybe we stop doing anything about faith because we think that God is distant or doesn't care. And that way, if God doesn't show up, then we're not disappointed. And then if he does, great, that's just a perk. But the problem is what if we're wrong? What if we're missing out on who God is? What if I told you that this week I have a message for you that will change your Christmas, that maybe you'll want to celebrate like Buddy the Elf? Well, that's what I want to talk about this week. Okay, so the story of Christmas really is about unmet expectations about God. Let me show you what I mean. So here's the little snapshot of the story. We have Mary, this young teenager who's getting ready to be married to Joseph. But then an angel comes and tells them that they're going to be the parents of Jesus, that Mary is actually carrying a God from the Holy Spirit. Kind of crazy. Luckily, they trust God and they stick with it. Now, the Roman Empire who's ruling over them decide, we want to count all the people in our land, so you need to go to your hometown, travel all the way so that we can count you there. So now Mary, who becomes super duper pregnant, has to travel with Joseph all the way to Bethlehem. By the time they get there, Mary eventually goes into labor and there's no place for them to stay. They eventually find a place, Mary gives birth to Jesus, and they place him in something called the manger, which is basically an animal's feeding trough. So what we gather from this story and from this situation is that Mary and Joseph are pretty much staying in a really not so great place. It's probably uncomfortable. Maybe it smells if there's a bunch of animals. I don't know if it's a cave, a stable, or just some sort of random room where animals are kept. All we know is it's not a great expectation, or it's not a great place that they probably expected to be. Mary and Joseph probably didn't expect this. Nobody expected this. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Mary and Joseph had thoughts like, did God abandon us? This is not what we expected. Is he mad at us? Is he punishing us? Wait, did he forget about us? Right? Because where are they? I mean, the people of God did not expect this. They might have had those kinds of feelings. I mean, we have those feelings. When God doesn't meet our expectations or behave or do the things that we want him to, we might think, oh, did I do something wrong? Is he mad at me? Or is God not who I thought he was, right? But let's go back through this, what the people of God thought. They were expecting this God to come. They expected this warrior God. They knew God was powerful. They expected him to be this warrior king to come in and conquer the people oppressing them, conquer the Romans, free them, punish the Romans. They were also expecting this God. I mean, if God's going to come and be born, he should be born into a palace, be born among the wealthy, amongst the kings. They were expecting God to follow all their rules, to show up and be the one they expected. And yet, God disappointed them because he did not show up like that. So who is this God? Who does Jesus show God to be? I want to point you to what the angel tells to Joseph because we see who God is. And this is what's key in the story. This is what the angel said. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus because he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. You see, they expected this like warrior, punisher of enemies, big macho king, someone to take charge. And they were disappointed because their expectations didn't meet reality. But what they got was better. Did you hear what they got? They got an Emmanuel, God with them. They got a God who was with them, who was not in this far off palace, but who was close with them, an accessible, approachable God. You see, I think that's the bottom line, is that God is with us. It doesn't matter what our reality is. God is with us. It doesn't matter if you are doing well in school right now, God is with you. It doesn't matter if you're screwing up a lot and making all these bad choices. God hasn't left you. He is with you. It doesn't matter if your parents are fighting or if your family seems to be all together. God is with you. You see, it doesn't matter your reality. God is with you always. That is the one thing he promises, that he will never leave. He came to love you, to show you he is with you. You see, I love that Jesus came to change our understanding of who God is. In fact, in John chapter 8, verse 12, Jesus actually says, I am the light of the world. And I love this imagery because light, think about like on a Christmas tree, all the twinkly lights, right? All the things that glow and all that fun. Light lights up the darkness. It shows us what we didn't see before. And that's what Jesus does for God, is he shows us who God is. He shows us how we expect God to be. He is a God who is with us, who loves us. It's hard to be disappointed in a God who promises to always, always be with us. That is one promise this Christmas that can't be broken by God. He will always, always be with you. That is worth celebrating. That is worth having huge expectations for Christmas, is trusting in a God who loves you enough to show up, to be with you. That's like the buddy elf celebration, right? So this week, I want to encourage you, join us for youth group this week so we can talk more about this, because I know that there's probably areas in your life where you feel alone. You feel like God isn't there and is not showing up. But join us this week as we can have this conversation together to talk more about how can you trust in God? Where are you struggling to trust God being with you? Where are the holes for your life? Where are you struggling with who God is? Because we want you to know the God who loves you and who is with you.